Hello, Dawgpound South campers. This is the Cleveland Browns Dawgpound South podcast, part of the Fanatical Elves Network, part of the Fans First Sports Network. Well, everybody wanted the Cleveland offense and this team to be fun to watch. I didn't like the outcome, but come on, you got to give it up. That was fun to watch. I'm starting to think that a healthy Nick Chubb made this offensive line look a lot better than they really, really are. I kind of had a hint going back a couple of years, the last couple of years with Nick Chubb healthy and running. But it's now obvious that Nick Chubb made this offensive line look a lot better than it really is. They cannot run the ball. And it's not just because Nick Chubb isn't healthy. I mean, Jerome Ford is having trouble running the ball. For some reason, they're not playing Donta Foreman, so they're going to have to fix this offensive line. Jack Conklin still is their best offensive lineman. They're going to have to get younger and they've got Zinter to take more than likely Batonio's place if he decides to retire. Got to get younger at center. Luke Whippler may be the answer. I think he is. He was playing well before he got hurt. Got to sign a left tackle. Don't draft one. You can draft a tackle, a developmental tackle, but go into the draft with already left tackle signed. Right now, Jack Conklin doesn't have any guarantees on the last two remaining years. I'd rework his deal because right now he's their best offensive lineman. And so, but still, when you can't run the ball, you got to throw the ball. And when you have Jameis Winston as your quarterback, you're going to get the full Jameis experience. And saw it again. I see a lot of people on social media saying, well, he's Joe Flacco. Well, actually, not really. Joe Flacco never really showed his dismay when he threw pick sixes. I mean, it was like, oh, okay, yeah, well, that was my mistake. But, Jameis gets upset, and I like that. Also, on that last interception he threw, did you see Nick Chubb and Jerry Jeudy run down that guy? Jerry Jeudy did not. He played a hell of a game and did not give up. He hasn't given up. So defense again, big plays. There is just a lack of communication back there, and I don't think it's because of Jim Schwartz. There was a lack of communication with Joe Woods, was the defensive coordinator. So what I'm thinking is it's more players than coaches. You just have players who can't understand the scheme. Martin Emerson, I don't know what the hell happened to him from one year to the next, but he is being used and abused. Greg Newsome had a pretty good game. Denzel Ward is Denzel Ward. Roddy McLeod had a good game. Delpit had a good game. So, I'm not saying give up on Martin Emerson. He's obviously got the talent. But, there's some problem back there in the secondary, and it's more of a player problem than a coordinator or a coaching problem. And again, not much pressure. They did get some pressure. I mean, I didn't expect Myles Garrett to go crazy like he did against the Chargers and the Steelers because of the altitude. He grew up with asthma as a kid. When he got COVID, it affected his breathing. I don't know if he has long COVID or not, but you could just tell that I just knew he wasn't going to have a big impact. Jordan Hicks, on the other hand, played great. Still need this defense need a JOK for this type of game. Him not playing, being able to play, has really affected this defense. He was having his best season, and you can tell this team misses JOK. And also Rodney Thornhill. He had 2 good games in a row, and then he got hurt again. So they've got to get younger at safety. I'm hearing JOK will be back. I doubt it will be this year, but let's hope. Let's take a quick break, and we'll talk about the offense. All right. Almost a record for an NFL for a Browns quarterback in passing yardage. I mean, you get the ball, go ahead touchdown with 8 minutes. They get the field goal, and then you're driving again you come out of the 2-minute warning, and you throw a pick six. Jameis Winston, there are times where he has to learn to throw the ball away, but he thinks he can he can make a reception, get the ball to a wide receiver on every pass he throws. That's good and bad, and you saw why the bad part. So I hope they re-sign him. I don't think he'll be a starter. I don't know how they're going to deal with this next year, but we'll find out as soon as the season's over. But you got to give it up for Jameis Winston. He is fun to watch, and he truly, truly cares. And you can tell his teammates love him, and you can tell Kevin Stefanski loves him too. Now for the wide receivers, Jerry Jeudy, what a hell of a game! Oh my God, he is your number 1 wide receiver going into next year. And then you got Elijah Moore, 111 yards receiving. The only problem is he kind of tries to, after the catch, to do a few juke moves, and and he ends up. He still makes the catch. Believe me, it was fantastic. He had a great game. David Njoku, most touchdown passes by a Cleveland Browns receiver since they came back in 1999. He is what he is. 14 targets. Wow. They were trying to get the ball to Njoku. Michael Woods, another late round wide receiver taken by Andrew Berry, comes in, looks like he belongs on the field. There was a couple times where he knew exactly where he was going for a first down, knew where the first down marker was, got past it and stopped and made the catch. That's what you ask your wide receivers to do on third down. Find the marker, get past it, catch the ball. He looked just natural. It didn't look like a big stage for him. I don't know. The kid did well in replacing Cedric Tillman. Again, the offensive line, not much. There's going to be a lot of adjustments made to this offense next year. Again, don't know how it's going to happen, but they need to concentrate on both D-line and offensive line. I know a lot of people out there want their quarterback. I know a lot of people want to have somebody's head because Jameis Winston wasn't playing from the beginning. Well, that doesn't matter at this point. Okay, that does not matter. I am not a shoulda, coulda, woulda type of guy. Never have been. Going forward, you move, you go forward, and that's what I want. Let's just fix it and move forward. The weird thing about it was, even after Winston threw that pick, there was still after the 2-minute warning, there was still a minute 40, almost a minute 50 left, and then he got him driving again. I mean, how many people, while the Browns were driving, and they did make, they made it inside the 10. How many of you were sitting there thinking, okay, so get the touchdown, kick the extra point, go for the onside kick, get a couple plays, set up for a field goal? Admit it. You were sitting there watching that, thinking that. I was. I was thinking, okay. You know, you get the ball, you score with about 40, 50 seconds left, kick the extra point. You're only down, you know, and you sit there and say, okay, all right. If an onside kick can work, then you may have a couple plays to get into field goal range. I was thinking it, and that's all we asked for all year is a team that's watchable. This team is watchable, but you've got to accept the fact that Jameis Winston is going to turn into bad Jameis. And like I said to John on the pregame show, last week against Pittsburgh, we got the full Jameis experience. Bad Jameis and good Jameis. A fumble and an interception, then again, a drive for the go-ahead touchdown against the Steelers. Bad Jameis, good Jameis. We got them both this time too. But the problem, you can eliminate bad Jameis if you can just run the ball. And I was all for taking Nick Chubb out of that game. He was ineffective behind that offensive line who could not push, who could not open holes for him. Right now, he's nothing but a power back. He is not the Nick Chubb of old, and he won't be the Nick Chubb of old for the rest of this year. A lot of people are worried that they might just let him walk. I can't see that. I can't see Andrew Berry doing that. If you fire Andrew Berry, the new GM will just let him walk. So I can't see him doing that. I think they'll give him a nice little contract going into next year. Nick Chubb is Cleveland, is a Cleveland Brown. And that's the only way I put it. But you got it. This team has to get a running game going. And I know a winning season's out the window. I didn't expect the winning season. I didn't expect them to win all their games. I expected them to play well and give them a chance to win. That's all you can ask. And if you look down the road, Jameis against the Bengals, Jameis against Pittsburgh. Boy, that's going to be a grudge match. Pittsburgh is still angry that they lost the game in Cleveland. You got Kansas City. You got Miami. Miami's winnable. That's in Cleveland. I think Cincinnati is winnable. I watched that game Sunday, and phew, their defense is beyond terrible. So, and as for the last game in Baltimore could be resting their players, and it's a perfect opportunity. So I am not giving up on the Cleveland Browns. I've never given up on them. I know that the winning season isn't going to happen. I kind of figured that already. But what you can play for is you can play for next year. And I know some people's going to say, oh, here we go. Wait till next year. Well, there's always next year. And I trust Andrew Berry and Kevin Stefanski to fix this problem that Troy Aikman called an albatross. And moving forward, you're going to see a different type of team built. Let me just put it, I'm hearing they're going to be doing a few things differently. And we'll talk about that after the season's over. So, like I said, that was a fun game to watch. I didn't get all angry that they lost because they still had a shot. Even with 40 seconds left of the game, they still had a shot. What more can you ask for? So everybody enjoy your day. I hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving, and that'll do it for me. This has been the Cleveland Browns Dawgpound South podcast, part of the Fanatical Elves Network, part of the Fans First Sport Network. I'm your host, Steve Gill, and like I keep saying, we thank you for following, listening, watching, subscribing, because we're Browns fans just like you. So everybody have a great day, and go Browns.